Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. Hey guys, I'm Rand Younger, and there's another episode of Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. And with me, as always, I have a lovely group of guest critics with me tonight. We have my favorite power couple, Rachel Kolb and Eric Godfrey. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, happy to be back.
Good to
Good to
see
be
you
here.
guys. Yes, and Dobby, good to see you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
Nice. And Mr. Chris Clemente, back for more action. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. It's been a while. It's been a few episodes ago you were on. So
That's right.
yeah, what was the last thing we reviewed?
Was it a Flower Moon?
Possibly, possibly.
Yeah.
And for purposes of this episode, we will probably touch on that film as well because tonight
Mhm.
we're going to discuss the Oscar nominations, which just came out yesterday. And there is a ton to talk about. We've got some really great insight into who the winners might be, who was sadly snubbed, and some of the surprises along the way. But personally, I was not so surprised because it pretty much feels like the Golden Globes all over again. And I just wanted to go down a couple of the main categories, the biggies, I say, starting with Best Picture. Now, this is a juicy, juicy topic, of course. It always is, and it's 10 films in contention for the top prize. And I'm just going to go down the list here, and I just want to do like a little commentary, I guess, for each film. See what you guys thought, if you saw them. If not, that's totally cool. I actually stayed up pretty late last night, and today, cramming every Best Picture nomination into my viewing so I could be up to date. And I will fill you guys in if you haven't seen the films. But first off on the list, we have in alphabetical order, American Fiction. Now, this movie I saw the other night, and it stars Jeffrey Wright as a struggling writer who basically is getting he's having a hard time selling his most recent novel. His publisher basically says that it's not black enough. So he kind of changed it a little bit into more of a quote unquote black voice, and it actually starts selling and he becomes very popular. But it's actually his alias that becomes popular, not the actual author. And it's a very interesting film. It's a dramedy through and through. It's touching, it's funny, and it's really well acted. I don't know. Have you guys seen American Fiction?
Sadly, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not, but
Mhm.
it's funny that Jeffrey Wright is up for an Academy Award this year because I felt like with French Dispatch
Hmm.
that I said after French Dispatch, I said they just need to give him the right part and he's gonna potentially go all the way with the Academy Awards.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
feel like this really plays to a lot of his strengths. Like he's a very gifted dramatic and comedic actor.
Yeah, and he plays a very likable character in this movie, and the supporting cast is also fantastic. Sterling K. Brown is I think he's nominated as well for Best Supporting Actor for his role in this. He plays Jeffrey Wright's brother in the film, and yeah, it's just it's not very heavy-handed. It's kind of like an easy digestible film, and it's likable, and the performances were really top notch. Uh,
Yes. Oh, and
yeah,
someone pointed this out on Facebook, and I had not noticed this. Every movie that Issa Rae was in a starring role in this year was nominated for an Academy Award.
that's so weird, but yeah,
Yep.
that's all, and she's great. She has a very small part in American Fiction, and I actually just started watching Insecure, which is pretty good too. So yeah, Chris, have you haven't seen American Fiction yet, have you?
I have not, but I've seen the trailer and the marketing materials around it, and totally agree with what Rachel said about Jeffrey Wright. He is such an underrated actor, and I agree with that statement that given the right role with the right material, he could just go all the way with it. So it doesn't surprise me that this movie is getting attention and that he's getting attention too. So yeah.
And this is definitely making my top 10 of the year.
Oh
So
yeah.
hopefully it'll make your guys as well, your list as well. So that would be cool to discuss in a few months when we do our best and worst of 2023 episode. But yeah, American Fiction, I really can't praise it enough. It's just a really, really strong film. All right, next up we've got Anatomy of a Fall, which is very different from American Fiction, and this is a strange one. It's both in English and French, and it is sort of foreign film about a mysterious death. This gentleman, basically the father of a family, he falls and he dies, and basically the entire film is trying to figure out what the heck happened to this guy. How did he die? Was it murder? Was it accidental? Was it suicide? And basically his family is put on trial. The wife is put on trial. They think she may have been a murderer in this instance. And it's a very, very heavy film. It's long. I think it's over 2.5 hours. And there's there's a lot of court sequences and a lot going on. It's a strong film as well, but it's not exactly a feel good. Just let FYI, you guys. Did you guys see this one?
No, but I've been hearing about this ever since it came out.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, the same for me too.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, check it out when you can, but just go in with a little, disclaimer because it's a little much at times.
I mean, to be fair, that's always kind of one of the guilty things about Oscar is that comedies and especially genre don't tend to land a lot on the radar. It's always a major criticism every year that the most important ones are the most dramatic ones. And I'm not saying that they aren't, but that's always been a weakness of Oscars that they tend to stick to the hard dramas more, like with exceptions. And I think that's one of the that was what the whole expansion to 10 films instead of 5 films was supposed to help alleviate.
Right.
But I still think you still see it every year.
Right. No, there's some really heavy films in this category, and
Speaking of which, next is
yeah,
the heaviest film.
you see the list too. So yeah, I'm going down the list. So guys, yeah, we're going off the CBS News website right now. So it's alphabetical of all the titles. And next up we have the total opposite of Anatomy of a Fall.
Yes.
It's a little movie called Barbie. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, it's a small indie.
Which defeats everything I just said about Oscars.
Right. And obviously, I believe we reviewed this, Rachel, right? Together, did we?
Yes, we did with Mannequin.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So I don't think we really have much to say about this other than there's two big snubs with this movie.
Yeah.
We've got so basically fantastic female director Greta Gerwig crafted this really cool movie, really interesting. It spans many genres. It's thought-provoking, it's well acted, it's beautiful, it's pink, and she was robbed of an Oscar nomination.
Yep.
And Rachel, I know you're passionate about this. What do you think about that snub?
I mean, it's absolute nonsense. Like it's gotten to the point that both of the acting nominees for the movie, America Ferrera and Ryan Gosling, have come out and made statements about this. Pretty much every major publication has either already written an op-ed about it or is going to write an op-ed about it with their own particular perspective. But as someone very succinctly pointed out, this is the plot of the movie, that Ken gets nominated and Barbie doesn't.
That's
I feel like every 10 years or so you'll go through a list of movies and be like, oh, was that nominated that year? And then you'll look back and be like, wait, that person wasn't nominated? Like they weren't nominated?
Yeah,
I feel like this is going to be that.
It's kind of on the same it's on the same level as Do the Right Thing of who is it that got nominated?
It was
Yeah, and he was the sole nomination.
Daniel or Aiello. It was
Yeah,
Danny
yeah,
Aiello.
Danny Aiello is nominated from it and nothing else.
Yeah.
And they considered it and Siskel and Ebert considered it one of the best films of the year, and clearly it has an enduring legacy.
Oh yeah.
And Barbie has already cemented it's going to be sticking around in the popular culture for a while.
I mean, it's that rare exception of it's the biggest movie of the year. It blew out just every box office, most popular thing, and it's the fact that it's that popular, it is that good, and it is like it's like the rare combination of the most popular and definitely one of the best films of the year.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's Oscar caliber per se. I think it's a really fun movie, really well acted. I can't say, and the Oscar goes to Barbie. It just does not sound right. But hey, it's
And
all
the
right.
fireworks go on.
Yeah,
That was me last year waiting for Top Gun Maverick
oh God.
to win the Oscar.
The same thing.
both of which brought people back to the movies.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Tom Cruise
Cannot argue.
flying in to get his Oscar.
Ridiculous. And now, Chris, I know you. I don't know if you've seen it yet, or I know we've been talking about this movie for
Yes,
like
no,
months.
absolutely, yeah. No, I
Yeah.
adored Barbie, and
Yeah.
I have to disagree with you, Randy. I think this
Right.
is well Oscar material. I
Okay.
think it's a very important film in all in all calibers of the sense. It's hitting, it's hitting sex relations, it's hitting image, it's hitting feminism topics, it's hitting ideologies with how we view ourselves and the self psyche. It's image, the whole concept of Barbie and what that means. It's a fantastic film, and it like Rachel and Eric mentioned with Greta Gerwig, like it was so shocking to see her not get that. It's such an important film, and she's such a unique actress and director, and this idea all came from her, and that idea blossomed into this huge success that really saved cinema this year. Like it's between that and Oppenheimer, but this in particular just you know it like you said, it was like the Maverick of last year, where like you have kind of keeping cinema, keeping Hollywood alive, and to have her have no recognition for it, it is it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's everything that the movie's not. So
It's definitely a slap in the face from the Academy. I
Yeah.
don't know what the voters were thinking with that, but yeah, it happened. But thankfully, we recognize it. The critics here, we know true talent is.
I think another reason why is because of the fact that it's like Greta has this year and this movie really cemented her as kind of the new celebrity director. You always have like a Chris Nolan, a Scorsese, a George Lucas, a Spielberg, the one where the director himself or themselves is the star, like like directed by is such a big deal. And the fact that like you even saw like when with SNL, even Greta Gerwig was there. Like it's the fact that people know her, they know of her, and it's like it's she's already done plenty of work both as an actress and a director before, but I feel like this cemented her as now a celebrity. Like people, it's like a Greta Gerwig film will like be an advertising slogan now for her upcoming projects.
Yeah, basically, she's got the keys to the kingdom, like, and that kingdom is Hollywood.
And I think that's why that's such a glaring omission.
Right.
Especially like, and I really think that's going to be a black mark on the Oscars this year.
Yeah, and I know that we need to move on to the other nominees.
We do. We're not
I will
even
say very quickly that I think it's very telling that Margot Robbie has said that she's going to be taking a step back from acting for a bit, in focusing on producing and working behind the scenes. Because as she put it, she said, "I think everyone's going to be sick of seeing me after this year," which is such a sad statement because you see this time and time again with actresses that break out and have massive success. People like, for example, Jennifer Lawrence, who just this past year really came back to big mainstream movies.
Right.
And it's especially sad that she is the face of the Barbie movie, and that the Barbie movie would not work without her, but she got snubbed for Best Actress.
Right. Sad all around,
Yeah.
but we'll see. We'll see if it win. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture, but we'll see. I think it's nominated for Best Screenplay.
Adapted screenplay, yes.
Adapted. Okay. So maybe there's
Randy, are we talking screenplays too?
so we are like we're strapped for time as it is.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm gonna just go through these. We're just gonna kind of do like a speed round. So if you have any
'cause there is
thoughts,
a relation to Barbie with that too. Like not a snub, but just an inappropriate.
okay.
They're classifying Barbie as adapted screenplay and not original, and that's kind of creating a little bit of a stir because you know it's completely a fabrication of Greta Gerwig's imagination, but just because it's an established property,
All right.
it's considered adapted. So
because it's based on a toy
I'm thinking that should be based off a toy, but completely her idea. So you know, it kind of bends the rule of what's original and what's adapted. You know?
That's like that's a murky thing right there. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely should be original. I mean, it is such such a unique concept.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, we got to move on here.
Yeah, let's go.
Next up, we've got the Holdovers, which I absolutely loved. It's on my top 10 of the year as well, and I think you guys agree as well.
It is right now my pick for Best Picture.
Number one for you? Nice.
It is my pick.
That was my number one, but a certain film bumped it down to number two, and that film was Poor Things, which is currently, and I don't know, it may remain my number one for the year. And I don't know, have you guys seen it yet?
Sadly,
Not
no,
yet.
but I'm
It
a big
is-
fan of Yargos, so I'm very much wanting to see it.
Yeah, and another major snub, Willem Dafoe not getting nominated for
Very
Poor
sad
Things.
about that. Yeah, he was great.
I did see Poor Things, loved it.
Oh, you did?
It's definitely my top in my top 5. But yeah, discussing the Holdovers, that's 2 on my list. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what else we got here? Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon. I was not impressed with, to be honest. It was what, 3.5 hours about, and you know, it was dull. There were 2 saving graces. Lily Gladstone, who's up for Best Actress in a leading role, and she's probably gonna win. And Robert De Niro in a pretty fantastic supporting role.
I'm gonna have to hardcore disagree. I loved this movie.
Okay.
We put it on with the notion of, you know, knowing the lengthier runtime, that we were going to be like, well, at least start it. And like maybe do it like The Irishman, where we do it in segments. And next thing we know, it's the credits were rolling, because we were just so in tune with this movie for all 3.5 hours. And it reminded me of Aviator. I think it was the last time I was just sucked in to a Scorsese movie that for, even though it's 3.5 hours, I'm just like, I'm there. I'm loving this. And I loved Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay, fair enough. I thought it was a beautiful film. I thought what was it, Oklahoma? They shot it beautifully. You know, had a great aesthetic about it. And the performance were good. Another complaint for me, which is surprising, it's even surprising to me, but Leonardo DiCaprio, it seems like he kind of just phoned this one in. And I feel like any other
I think I might disagree with you about that.
Oh my God, I'm not getting a lot of love tonight.
But that's okay. It's okay to have disagreements about ours. It's about performances.
I think any other A-list or even any B-list actor could have done that performance. And I mean, I love Leo, but this one I was just very uninterested about what he was bringing to the table, because it's sad, because he's always very reliable as an actor. But I don't know, I was just disappointed with this movie.
I think the reason I would disagree with you on this, especially DiCaprio, and I can't speak for Rachel, but what's nice is I feel like the problem is that for a lot of the stuff that he's been getting more notice for, like Revenant, has been more of his bigger and louder. And so it was kind of nice having him step back and be subtler and be quieter and still actually have teeth to it. And so not having this larger than life character, and not having like these big blow up moments, like these big like huge rage moments like DiCaprio
Mhm.
kind of got noticed for, and have him be a guy who is a idiot,
And a violent
a
idiot.
violent idiot,
Mhm.
and to actually see him play that is why I think I liked him so much in this, as opposed to kind of the other things he's been getting noticed more of late.
Okay. Maybe I'll
And
give
I
it a
absolutely agree
shot,
with this. I
but
think, yeah, I feel like as time kind of went on, I didn't like the movie at first either, and I think
Mm,
I'm toying with now that it's percolating in my brain a little bit more. There's certain elements that got better, and I think his performance, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, uh, it's justified by the dummy. He's the henchman, and
Mhm.
it actually is interesting because there was a lot of um, comparisons made to The Irishman, and how Robert De Niro in The Irishman kind of played Leonardo DiCaprio in Flower Moon, and how like their roles switched. So like each of them got a taste of playing the heavy guy, the
The
heavy lift
lackey,
guy.
yeah.
So
mm,
the lackey, yeah. Um, so yeah, I toy back and forth with the film. I think I could see how it's getting so much love, and I can respect that. It's not my favorite Scorsese, and it was kind
right.
of difficult for me anyway to kind of withstand the runtime. But that could just be me. I get a little antsy after 3 hours, but
Fair.
I can understand definitely the love for it for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's an okay movie. It's just not a great one, in my opinion. But maybe a
Mhm.
repeat viewing is in order. We
It's
shall.
no Barbie. It's no Barbie.
No, it's not. Definitely not. But I do feel that Lily Gladstone will win Best Actress for
Yeah.
this, and
Mhm.
which is great
I
for
don't know. I don't know.
Indigenous people.
I think Emma Stone might take that from her,
Oh,
but I think it's going to be a coin toss between Emma and that's the thing. I think a lot of categories are genuine coin tosses.
yeah. And we're gonna get to that in just a minute. And actually, since we are low on time, I think we're just gonna stick with just the Best Picture nominations.
Yeah.
And I guess we could do a quick
Part two.
rundown. We can do like a quick thing where we predict who we think is going to win, like maybe Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting, and maybe Director.
Mhm.
But all right, so we are okay. So next up, we've got Maestro, which was decent as well. Didn't blow me away, but I did
That
love.
one is carried by the performances.
Yeah, again, for sure. And
Yeah.
the makeup effects were actually really, really good with making
Incredible.
Bradley Cooper look like he's in his 70s.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
there's a really close up of Bradley Cooper's neck, like the side of his face, and his neck is like very leathery and it looks so good. So I really hope
Mm.
that the film wins for at least makeup. So we'll see. Also, we've of course Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer is going to take the big prize, Best Picture. Uh,
I think there's a huge potential that it could,
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and rightfully
Yeah.
so. I think this is Nolan's masterpiece.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, I agree. It's my number one of the year. Like when I think
all right.
of this year, I think of Barbenheimer, definitely.
Yeah, the
And for me, like just Oppenheimer
Mhm.
was such a gorgeous just feast to look at in the
Yeah,
theater. And
yeah,
when I look back in at 2023, I think of that movie. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's pretty iconic, and I didn't see it in IMAX, but I'm assuming that must have
it's
been
beautiful.
some
It's
experience.
it's crazy to think that that's done with practical effects, and it's great to see, comparing it with Barbie, and it's like, oh, it's he has so much notoriety with the fact that he has, but like it is like a masterpiece, and it's very well deserving. And even
Yeah.
though Greta Gerwig should get that nomination, and it might go to Nolan, it's I think it's still well worth it, and it's just a phenomenal film.
You know
Like
what
it's
would be
just like
amazing?
I wish I saw it 5 more times in the theater.
What would be amazing is if Christopher Nolan wins Best Director, and during his speech, he donates the Oscar to Greta Gerwig. No, that's not going to happen, but hey, you never know. That would be
I
an
don't think it's
amazing
gonna
thing.
happen. No,
We'll
no,
see.
no. And
All right.
Cillian Murphy, and yeah, like
Yeah.
it's great that he got a lead role in his long partnership, collaboration with Nolan. So
I think
um,
I think Killian was in the running to play Batman in Batman Begins.
yeah,
He
yeah,
auditioned, yeah.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah, but quickly was like, nah, I don't think this is for me.
He's too
yeah,
skinny. He's
yeah.
too Irish. No. No. No, he's a great actor. He gave a
You
fantastic
nailed it.
performance
You
in this.
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we mentioned, okay, so next up we have a movie I actually saw literally an hour before we started recording, and this movie is called Past Lives,
I'm
and
so excited to see this.
it's so sweet. It's by A24 Films, so that should tell you something right off the bat. It's a great like romantic drama which spans the course of decades, basically focusing on these two kids, a boy and a girl in Seoul, Korea, and basically how they move from like decade to decade, meeting each other when they're like in their 20s, through like Skype, and then another 12 years later after that when they're adults, like 30 at this point. And I don't want to give much away, but it's just a really tender, really realistic love story, and it just feels genuine and just really it's well acted. Another snub was the main actress. I think her name is
Greta Lee, I believe.
yeah, Greta Lee. Thank you. She was in
Yep.
a show with who's the girl from, it's Russian Doll. She was in it.
Yeah, and she's also in the morning show.
Okay, yeah, she's
Yep.
fantastic in Past Lives, and I highly recommend it. It's a good date night movie.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is up for Best Picture. It's not going to win, but it's still a strong film, and I can see why they included it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so okay, we touched on Poor Things, which I think Emma should win. I mean, it really is a toss up, Eric. Yeah, Emma and Lily. I don't know. It's the battle.
And also just based on the momentum, I kind of think as far as Best Picture goes, I think the way the Academy's voting, I think it's a coin toss between Oppenheimer and Poor Things for which one will win Best Picture.
I mean,
Mm.
Poor Things is fantastic. I don't know if it's the popular choice. Oppenheimer's kind of like that typical Best Picture
Which
type
yeah
movie.
might give it the
Yeah.
edge a bit.
Yeah, but Poor Things did win the Golden Globe for Best Comedy. So
Hmm. Hmm.
at the Golden Globes. But we'll see. I mean, it really is a toss up. Like we didn't expect Brendan Fraser to win last year. So
It's
crazier
true.
things have happened. So
Mm.
we'll see. We'll see. All right. So Poor Things is a crazy movie. I rewatched it. I went through Yorgos Lanthimos's almost his entire filmography, and he's got kind of like foreign Tim Burton vibe about him, which I love. You can definitely see that sci-fi fantasy element in Poor Things, which makes it such a strong film, both visually and the message that it carries. So yeah, Chris, have you seen? Yeah, you've seen Poor Things,
I have. I have.
but
It's phenomenal.
yeah,
And Emma Stone, I mean, she's so. I mean, she gives such a great performance, and
yeah,
just so out there, so funny, but also like so innocent. It was just great.
nice.
Um, do I think she's gonna win? I don't know. I don't know. I think she already has so much of a buildup with the Academy from La La Land. It might just go to Lily Gladstone. So they might need that token this year. So
Mm,
they might go that way. But it's like you guys say, it's just a coin toss.
yeah.
We'll
Okay, and the
see.
last film on the list of Best Picture is The Zone of Interest, which I actually saw this a couple weeks back at the Museum of Moving Image, and it's about a Nazi and his family that live basically next to a concentration camp. I don't know if it's
Yep.
Auschwitz per se, but it is definitely a camp, and it's an interesting movie for sure, to say the least. It focuses on, like, they basically seem like a normal family. The patriarch just happens to be a Nazi, and it depicts this family as just like a kind of a wholesome. The kids are playing. the mother, she's got her girlfriends and she chats with, he has a drink, hanging out in the backyard. But then in the background, you see chimneys of
Yeah.
it's just a really like a weird juxtaposition of images. Like you've got this like a wholesome family, but then in the background you see these atrocities like going on like in the background. It's just it's heavy at times, but it's a beautiful film. I think it's shot almost as well, if not better, than Oppenheimer. And it's again not a feel good, but a very, very important film, I'd say, and strong in its message. So yeah, guys, that is our list of Best Picture, and I think it's a strong list this year. I'm excited March 10th to see what happens.
Shows how good of a year 2023 genuinely was for there's a strong list, and all 10 of these are the at least the ones that I've seen on this list are definitely the best movies of the year.
Yeah. And I'd say with every year that I've been doing this show, I have more of a keen observational eye when it comes to films. So this year is no different. I watched each of the 10 nominees, and I really, kind of just analyzed them and in my head, and kind of I love formulating my top tens, that. And the films in this list are so varied and so good, so that like, they stick with you. And it's just 2023 was a really strong year, especially the final quarter, when we get all the movies that are over.
It's always the
Always at the end of the year,
Oh yeah, the Oscar bait season.
So, but I'm glad they came out.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Should we do our predictions for Best Actor?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
if you want, yeah, sure.
You know what?
Which category? The Best Actor, you said?
Yeah. Who do you guys want to win Best Actor?
I think almost every category is a coin toss. I think it's either going to be Giamatti or Murphy.
I think.
I love both of them. I would be happy with both of them, but my heart's with Giamatti. I think he killed it. I think this is also a culmination of his career.
It feels like he's going to win, and I hope he does, because he was just awesome in this. And his first film in almost 20 years since Sideways with Alexander Payne. Also, a really, really awful snub. Best Director a nomination should have gone to Payne, and I'm really sad about that, because he did a great job with this film.
And the underdog that I would love to see some is Coleman Domingo, because that made that a delightful nomination.
Yeah,
he was amazing in Rustin.
Another really important film with a great message. So yeah, he was great in that. He was also fantastic in The Color Purple, which we didn't really talk about tonight.
Very, very different roles for Coleman Domingo in both those.
And with The Color Purple, I kind of want to just segue into that. Danielle Brooks was fantastic in that supporting role. But at the same token, Davine Joy Randolph was also great in The Holdovers. So I don't know I think it's between those two lovely ladies for Best Supporting Actress, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would love for Davine Joy to win for Holdovers.
She has my heart
so
for that category.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was phenomenal.
But again, I think Danielle Brooks has a
great
shot too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going on the list. Best Actress, I would say, either we covered this, Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone. Supporting Actor, I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to win for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, as much as I would be fine with Gosling winning for Barbie, I do think Downey.
I would love for Ryan Gosling to win it for Barbie and then immediately hand it off to Margot and Greta. Just cede his time to the both of them.
That would be really sweet. I love that idea.
That's awesome. But no, I think this is Downey's, but Gosling, just.
And also, Chris, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this one, but Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. What did you think?
Yeah. I mean, he was phenomenal too in that. I do think it's going to be Downey Jr. For that. I think he really was a chameleon in that role, and I think it really just it set him apart from all the Marvel movies that he's done as Iron
Yeah.
Man. So
Yeah.
I think yeah,
It kind of,
it's
it kind of,
it's
it's
yeah,
like,
it's I find
sorry.
it funny with Downey Jr. because like he's made Marvel into what it was, and
Hmm.
he kind of contributed to this comic book hero fatigue going on. And then like he's like, oh, I think that phase of movies are over, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Here's the next phase of my career, and he gives a performance like this.
I know. Well,
So
he's a really great actor, but it's just that
Yeah.
yes,
he went after the money grab with Iron Man and then Marvel Universe. He needs to
he
do,
is, and
you know,
what's great about this film, and I remember seeing an interview with him, and he said that Nolan's note for him was, forget that witty charm of yours. Like this is like, don't do Tony Sparks. Like it's gonna be, do this. Do something more subtle. And he is that type of actor. I kind of equate him with like Ryan Reynolds, like or Ben Affleck. Like they're not great in everything, but Downey is great, but he's kind of got lost in this witty persona,
yeah,
and I think roles like this shows how much of a great range he does have.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I'm
yeah,
really glad that he went this route because I don't really want to see Tony
yeah,
Stark anymore. I'm done with it. But anyway,
yeah. No, it had its good run, but not, you just want to see variety in an actor with those chops, and I think it's
yeah,
great. I
for
think it's great
sure.
that he took a role like this.
Indeed. Okay, so I think we're Team Downey Jr. So that's good. All
Yes.
right. All right, that's supporting actor. Next up. Okay, we did supporting actress. Okay, last but not least, best director. I think it's unanimous. I think Christopher Nolan's gonna win it, and rightfully so.
Hmm.
He knocked it out of the park with Oppenheimer. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful film.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think this one. I think this one's pretty firmly. I would put my money on
Yeah.
Nolan.
yeah,
Yeah, I would put my
Mm.
money on Nolan only because of the fact that Greta is not in that category.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
agreed. I did love Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. I think he has a very interesting eye, and like I mentioned, I did see a bunch of his films previously, and he's definitely an auteur, as it were. And
Mhm.
he's not going to win this year, I don't think, but I think he has a good shot maybe in the future. So he's definitely a strong director. Same obviously with Scorsese. I mean, it's Scorsese. What can you say? Uh, I thought he did a great job with this film. It's not one of my favorite films of the year, but I think he shot it beautifully. And yeah, kudos to Marty and his entire team. So we definitely went over time with this, unfortunately. But I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. This was really cool. It was a great preamble to the actual awards ceremony, which is March 10th on ABC. I should work for ABC. I'm promoting it. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in person for my Oscar party, my Oscar watch party. And yeah, we have negative 10 minutes because we but really quick, I just want to do some plugs. Chris, anything going on? Any projects?
Just wrapping up some writing for We Got This Covered. So check out We Got This Covered and anything from the gamers group.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Always busy, good sir.
Always.
Yes, yes. Always be closing. And my favorite power couple, what's going on? Rachel.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Second Act Bake Shop. You can find Dobby on Instagram at Dobby the House Doggo, and you can find me over at the Law of Donut Engineering in Jersey City Heights. Come on over for donuts and for cinnamon rolls, and got some things that we're cooking up. So
Awesome. And Eric, I think I know you
yeah.
what
I'm just passing back to Rachel on that one.
just supporting. That's
Yep.
cool, cool. All right, guys. And as for me, you can check out new episodes of Under the Radar, of course, on Slam Radio SXM through Sirius Radio Channel 145, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, the video version of the podcast will be up and that's on Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And feel free to subscribe to the Under the Radar YouTube channel and share the love. So guys, thank you again, and I hope to see you soon. I'll definitely see you probably for Oscar night. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together one frame at a time. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Troy Kotzer! Troy Kotzer is sweeping award show season and making history in the process.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you, sir.
Amazing. It was only 23 minutes, but it made me cry like a baby.
Yes, glad to hear that.
Thank you. It was good tears. It was just really sobering. Great film. How did it originally come about?
So, last Oscars, when Troy received the Oscar, like he sort of like just opened up this story that we just had to know. John here, he had started this foundation which launched Dad Saves America, and so we were in the office kind of like where most of America was talking about Will Smith incident. We're talking about, wow, did you see that guy Troy Kotzer? And fortunately we shared the same manager, and I got tasked. I got to direct the film, and what a blessing, what an honor that was to tell that story, because it was truly an amazing story. You could see it was just beaming on stage about like how much that relationship meant to Troy, and so naturally,
Super expressive in his communication. You can just tell the man is oozing with emotion. What was it like working with Troy?
Yeah, fantastic. You said it, man. That guy has got like the volume of nuanced expression that he brings to his roles, and even to telling his own story. It just blows me away.
Any challenges during filming?
Oh yeah, always challenges. I had never made a film that's ASL for an ASL audience before, and so wow, from every step of the way, it changes things. You have to rethink all the things that you did. That you sort of took on and learned throughout your career, and so it was good. It was good expanding.
Yeah. Was that a daunting task?
I would not daunting.
Okay.
Fun. It's a new culture, right? It's like converging, and so the process, it makes it longer, and it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
So whenever you have learning, there's a little suffering involved.
For sure.
So yeah. Yeah.
So lastly, what do you hope audiences take away from the film?
I want audiences to be moved, right? To think about how important Troy's dad was in his life, right? And how, in general, right? Like, dads are important, you know, and we shouldn't diminish dads. We should lift them up, and yeah, you know, and I think really, you know, everybody can learn from this story in general about how to get through suffering, how to get through tragedy in their lives.
And Father's Day is right around the corner, so this is a great gift to all the dads out there. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.
You know, leave the audience wanting more is the thing we want, right? As filmmakers.
Yeah.
It was a little too long is not what you want to hear.
No, you want that sweet spot right in the middle there. How did you get involved with the project?
Well, Troy and I share a manager, Mark Finley, and so Mark had talked to me about how amazing Troy is, and I have this show, Dad Saves America, that celebrates fatherhood and explores the different things that we do as dads to help our kids thrive in the world. And so when Troy delivered that impassioned speech at the Oscars and told in just a small moment the heartbreak and the heroism of his dad, we said, this is a story that needs to be turned into something fuller than this. And so, you know, Mark made the connection. I pitched Troy to come down to Austin and spend some time together, and we were off to the races last summer.
So what was it like working with Troy? I know he's a very emotional, very expressive individual. That must have been an amazing experience for you guys.
Well, there's a couple things that were really amazing. The first was, and I think this was the thing about CODA, right? For most people, you know, there's only 1 million or so deaf and hard of hearing people in the United States. So that's out of 330 million Americans. So we don't necessarily encounter deaf culture very often. And when we do, it's only in tiny snippets. So CODA gives you this chance to experience deaf culture. And we tried to embrace that with the film. And that meant, you know, grappling with this language, ASL. And that was transformational. It changed the way we had to do the filmmaking. It informed everything about the visuals of the film, because Troy's at the centerpiece interview, but we don't want to cut away from him because he's not vocalizing his words, and we didn't want to use a voiceover for his voice. We wanted his voice, which is his hands, to be the voice.
Smart move. It would have been really cheesy otherwise. So good move on that part.
I mean, believe me, you know, we're trying to make it good for everybody, right? So trying to do that, but also have it be stay dramatic for a hearing audience was an interesting challenge.
What was your communication like with the deaf community while filming this? Did you have support from them? Were they? How was that relationship?
Well, Troy's a rock star, right? When it comes to the deaf community, I mean, he's an unbelievable figure. And we're in Austin, Texas, which has a truly remarkable school for the deaf. It's actually one of the largest in the country. So when Troy came down last summer, we actually partnered with the Texas School for the Deaf. So after we filmed with him, he taught a class for some of the deaf theater kids at the school. And then all of the actors that play Troy in our film are deaf.
Wow. Okay.
And so we tried to honor that reality throughout the entire process, and it gave us an unbelievable immersion in it.
Right. So CODA, it definitely opened doors for deaf people. This film is no different. How do you feel about the future of art affecting life?
Well, I like to say that there's sort of 3 ways we learn how to do anything in this world. You know, we learn through direct experience, right? You know, you go out there, you try, you fail, you succeed. You learn by your parents or your friends or the people around you. And then you learn through the stories we tell. And that's what art is fundamentally about. It's about exploring the human condition. Right. And so I think art and life are deeply connected and always have been, and they continue to evolve together.
Hello, how are you?
Congratulations on all your successes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for everything you've done. The CODA is amazing, obviously. A great family story. And we get more of that in To My Father, which is also great. So, what was it like bringing your story to the big screen?
Well, I feel that deep inside, I was telling myself that I wanted everyone to know that I wasn't alone. And it wasn't only me and my family that was struggling, because every family has their own personal struggles. And people that think they're alone are really not alone. So I'm here to share this story and be vulnerable and show the experiences that I went through and tell everyone that, look at me. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. This documentary really shows that the father, it's so important for dads to be involved in their kids' lives and do whatever they need to be successful. And so whatever you go through, love can overcome any barrier.
I totally agree. My father and I, we don't always see eye to eye, which is frustrating. But there is a strong connection. There is always going to be love, no matter what, no matter all the arguments and disagreements. We'll always be father and son. And this film reflects that relationship, that love, and that power of love.
I agree with what you're saying. When you mention arguments, when you look at that, really it's care. And it's nice to hear a different perspective. There's always different sides to every story, and you can make the best decision and the best choices after those arguments, right? So, you know what I mean.
Of course.
I know what it feels like to be a father now. I have a daughter, and I know it's hard for dads. You think you know what's best, but sometimes you have to let go and let your kids decide, and just do what's best for your kid, and that makes you become a better father too. And it is really challenging. It's a challenging role. And now looking back at everything my father did and everything he went through for me, now I'm able to share that story with an audience. And it's funny because my daughter graduated high school a month ago. And now I'm feeling a bit torn. It's really hard to let go of you, and I'm not quite ready yet. I only have one child, so she's my only baby girl. And I'm the daddy. She's the daddy's girl.
No more kids. You don't want any more heartache. No.
Look on the positive side. I have more time to be involved in different productions and different projects. So life is short, so I'm ready to roll up my sleeves. I'm trying my best, and I'm really happy for my daughter to go off to college, because I'm sure maybe you've experienced when you went to college, maybe you had to let go of your mom and dad, so you probably feel me.
Yeah, I hear you, man. What's next for you? Any big film projects, any theater coming up?
An episode of Bear Grylls Running Wild I participated in as a guest, and it's coming out July 30th.
Okay.
In a couple months, so that was really fun. I did an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. That'll be out this fall. And they're coming up on their 14th and last season, I believe.
That's awesome.
And I'm also involved in an independent film called In Cold Light.
Nice.
And I'm going to play a rodeo cowboy.
I love it.
It's in Canada, and so I'm really excited for that. And after my daughter has graduated, now I'm starting to shift my focus and roll up my sleeves and get back to work.
That's awesome. And we need more good work from you, because you are incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey guys, Ryan Young here at the 2022 Tribeca Festival, here at the premiere of Next Exit, and I'm about to talk to some of the talent, including a certain Mr. Daniel Robert Elfman, otherwise known as Danny Elfman, who composed the film's themes and some of the music. Here we go.
Hey.
So what attracted you to this role?
Molly Elfman and her vision. She approached me to play the lead character, Rose. I was really intimidated to do it because of the material, and when we meet Rose, she's in a really complicated place in her life. Somebody exciting.
Someone's excited.
I love it. Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, so initially I was really nervous to play the character, but Molly, her vision had me sold, and just her as a human being. She's just one of the most collaborative, kind, chilled people.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the film yet. I'm going to see it tonight.
Cool.
And I'm really interested because it's a very dark topic of death. So going into it, were you a little bit apprehensive, or did you welcome the challenge?
Well, I think when you see the film, you'll be pleasantly surprised that it goes in a different direction. There are other themes to be explored. For me, the film is about, yes, death, but also rebirth, and how we cycle through that on our time on this planet.
Yeah.
There's some really cool metaphors given the last few years we've all had with COVID.
Right.
COVID is not explored in this movie, but there's a theme that maybe people can relate to from their experience.
Gotcha. And we all need that right now, for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me, what was it like working on this film?
Unique. It was during the beginning of COVID. I drove across country by myself to meet up with the crew, to pod with everybody.
That's dedication.
Yes, it is. And I'm so lucky to have been able to be part of this, and I had the best time. It was very unique.
Awesome. What do you hope audiences take away from the film?
A new perspective.
Hi. Nice to meet you. We actually met at the Museum of Modern Art a number of years ago for the Tim Burton exhibit.
Oh, right.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
So what attracted you to this project?
My daughter's the writer-director.
That's all. That's enough, right?
Yeah, it's a very proud moment for me.
And how did you approach the film musically? I'm curious.
I mean, I just I don't know, she wanted some kind of quirky themes, some music that played a couple of scenes, because I couldn't score the whole film because I was in the middle of another thing at that time. And so I did, and I gave her, I said, use these if you like, or don't use them if you don't like. And she's like, no, I like them. So I said, okay, well, my gift.
And what was it like working with the composer? Ariel, is it?
I mean, she took what I did and then went off and did her own thing. We didn't really interface. No, I just wrote some stuff, and then I said, you can use it if you like, or don't use it if you don't like. And, I'm just trying to be a helpful papa here.
Of course. Whenever you provide a theme, it's always a great help to the movie, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you for all your decades of great work. You are a true artist, and I respect you. You are my favorite composer, I'll be honest.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Also, a side note, I remember the Nissan ads you composed in 1996.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. I mean, you got me there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were fantastic. They were a wonderful mix of like Edward Scissorhands and even a little flubber. So.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Randy Unger, Under the Radar. How are you?
Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
You too.
Traffic in the background. It's perfectly
lovely,
New York.
Right? There we are.
Yeah.
So congratulations on the film. I have not seen it yet. I'm going to see it tonight.
Okay, good.
Very excited. It looks awesome from what I've seen so far, from what I've heard from everybody on this carpet. How did the project come about?
It came about, I was writing it over about 10 years, and then when COVID hit, it just became so relevant to me that one thing changes and our entire world has an effect, and the ripple effect that goes out. And so I didn't want to make a COVID film, but it just felt so relevant and timely, and I wanted to talk about the effect that it can have on people. And I also wanted to find a way to give some hope.
Okay. And we all need that right now, for sure.
And ghosts. We all need a little hope and a little ghost.
And a little music from your dad doesn't help.
I loved it. Yeah, he was no, it doesn't hurt at all.
Right.
It was really wonderful. He's talented, that guy.
Oh my God. What was it like growing up in that house?
I didn't have anything to compare it by, so honestly it felt very normal to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pretty much heard like the beginnings of certain themes. Were you there when he composed The Simpsons?
I mean, I was probably outside playing in the dirt eating it, but I did hear it around me at all times, and I am aware of it. But and I love being on a scoring stage. It's one of my favorite places to be.
Nice. What was the most magical moment working with your dad?
He just is very intuitive to what a film needs. I think there's ideas of what you think it should have, and then there's the reality, and he's very good at honing it and finding that.
For sure. I love it. All right. I look forward to seeing the film tonight. Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you so much.
And guys, if you want to see previous episodes of Unger the Radar, just visit the YouTube channel, Unger the Radar. That's Unger with a G. Please subscribe and share. You can also check out new episodes of Unger the Radar on Manhattan Neighborhood Network on the Lifestyle channel every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you can also check out more coverage of the Tribeca Festival this year only on the YouTube channel.